I told my boyfriend I was having a miscarriage and he called me an asshole for not staying positive. I'm 22 and found out I was pregnant about 3 weeks ago. It wasn't planned, but I was actually kind of excited once the shock wore off. My boyfriend Kyle is 20 and he seemed happy too, talking about baby names and looking at cribs online. But then I started bleeding, not just a little spotting, like heavy bleeding with clots. I woke up one morning and there was blood everywhere. I immediately started panicking because I knew this wasn't normal. I told Kyle we needed to go to the hospital right away. He was still in bed scrolling through his phone and barely looked up. He said he'd been reading online and that bleeding in early pregnancy was totally normal, that lots of women spot and everything turns out fine. I tried explaining that this wasn't just spotting, this was actual bleeding, but he kept insisting I was overreacting. He said I was being dramatic and that going to the emergency room would be a waste of time and money. Every time I brought up going to the hospital, he'd complain and make me feel guilty about it, so I didn't go. I stayed home for 3 days bleeding heavily while Kyle kept telling me everything was fine. He'd show me random articles he found online about women who bled during pregnancy and had healthy babies. He made me feel stupid for being worried. On day 3, I had an appointment to get my second round of blood work done. They test this hormone called HCG that's supposed to go up when you're pregnant. The nurse called me later that afternoon with the results. My levels had dropped significantly. She said she was so sorry, but this indicated a miscarriage. She asked if I wanted to come in to talk to the doctor. I just sat there on the couch, holding my phone, trying not to cry. Kyle was in the other room playing video games with his headset on. I went in and told him what the nurse said, that my levels dropped and the doctor confirmed I was having a miscarriage. He finally took his headset off and looked at me. Then he said the worst thing he could have possibly said. He told me I was being an asshole, that he was just trying to stay hopeful and positive for us, that I was giving up too easily and being negative about everything. He actually said that if I had just stayed positive instead of being so dramatic, maybe things would have turned out different. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I had just lost our baby, and he was blaming me for not being optimistic enough, like my attitude somehow caused a miscarriage. I started crying and he got annoyed, saying I was making everything worse by being so emotional. That's when I realized this wasn't the first time he'd dismissed my health concerns or made me feel crazy for worrying about something real. A few months ago, I thought I had a UTI and he told me I was being paranoid until I was in so much pain I could barely walk. I told him I wanted to break up, that I couldn't be with someone who didn't take my health seriously and blamed me for a miscarriage. He completely switched and started apologizing, saying he didn't mean it like that he was just upset about losing the baby too. But when I said I was still leaving, things got scary. He grabbed my arm when I tried to pack a bag, blocked the door when I tried to leave, started yelling that I couldn't just walk out on him after everything we'd been through. I'm staying with my sister now and figuring out how to get my stuff without him being there. My doctor said the miscarriage wasn't my fault and that nothing I did or didn't do could have prevented it. But Kyle's words keep playing in my head.